Hi class, today's lesson is exercise 9G, scatter plots. Scatter plots show the relationship between two variables. They are kind of similar to the time series data we did last lesson. The variables, however, are not always time, they are other things as well. So in this example, each dot shows one person's weight versus their height. Then we can look at the relationship between these two variables. This is another scatter plot that shows the relationship between the temperature and ice cream sales. As we can see, as the temperature increases, the ice cream sales also increase. We use the word correlation to describe how variables are related. Correlation is also called association or relationship sometimes. When describing correlation, we need to talk about the direction. So this first scatter plot, it's going in an upwards direction, so we see it has a positive correlation. The next one, it's going in a downwards direction, so we see it has a negative correlation. And the last one has no direction at all, so it has no correlation. Okay, let's have a go at describing the correlation of these scatter plots. So the first one, I've actually cropped out the description, but what it's showing is the relationship between the time spent studying for a test and the mark you end up getting on the test. So as we can see, it's going in an upwards direction, so it's a positive correlation, which that makes sense. The more you study for a test, usually the higher mark you're going to get. This next one in the middle, this is showing the age of a car and the price of a car. So as we can see, it's going down. So it's got a negative correlation, which basically means as the car gets older, so as it has more years that it's been on the road, its price decreases. And then this last one here, this is showing the relationship between someone's age and the diameter of their calf. So that's part of the leg. So as we can see, there's no correlation. So there's no relationship between someone's age and their calf diameter. When describing the relationship between two variables, we should also talk about the strength of the correlation. So this first image, this shows a strong correlation. You see the points are all sort of centered around the same spot, whereas in the second image, this is showing a weak correlation. The plots are more scattered about. In this example, we're going to classify the strength of the correlation in the following scatter plots. So we can see that they've all got a negative correlation going down, but let's talk about the strength. So the first one, I would classify this as having a weak correlation. This middle one here, see there's less scatter, it's all centered around the same bit, so I would say strong. And this last one here, I wouldn't say it's particularly weak or strong, so I could just say it was a negative correlation, or I could describe it as maybe moderate correlation. That just means in the middle, kind of. Okay, last example. We're going to construct and interpret the scatter plot. So if we're considering this data set, and we're going to draw a scatter plot for the data, I need to just draw in my x and y axes, like so. Then I'm going to plot the points. So the first point I'm plotting is at when x is 13 and y is 2.1. So I go along to 13 on the x-axis and 2.1 on the y. And I plot that in. My next point is at 9 and 4. So I go along to 9 and up to 4, and that's here. Then I plot all of the rest of the points. Okay, so I've drawn the scatter plot. The next question says, describe the correlation between x and y as positive or negative. So that's like what direction is it going? So the correlation is going in a negative direction. And then it says describe the correlation between X and Y as strong or weak. So it's pretty much in a line, there's not much scatter about, so it's a strong correlation. I would like you to please complete the worksheet and submit it to my Panola.